Hello, welcome to Bayou Time. I'm your host, Tanner McGee. For today, we have a great show with Chett Chaisson, Port Director of Port Fourchon. We're going to talk a little bit about LNG in the first segment, and then we're going to go in the second segment and talk a little bit more about what's going on in the port. Welcome to the show, Chett. Happy to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tanner.
Yeah, we're just going to dive right in. Look, we got some bad news as far as our local economy goes with the Biden halting LNG transports. First of all, kind of give everybody back home who's watching what we do with LNG in Port Fourchon, how it affects us, and what Biden actually did, and what it looks forward going into the future.
Yeah, so for us, we have a couple vessels that utilize liquefied natural gas as a fuel source, and that's trucked in from some existing facilities right now, currently in Port Allen. What we're trying to do at Port Fourchon is we have a lease with a company named Argent LNG that is interested in actually creating a liquefied natural gas plant. And obviously, with this ban that the Biden administration has put forth, or a pause on issuing any new facilities and new permits, that causes some concern for us as we try to move forward on what could potentially be a $5 billion project for Lafourche Parish, and the importance of that to not only Lafourche Parish or the port, but the entire region and the state when it comes to getting this liquefied natural gas, or this natural gas, converting it to liquefied natural gas, and shipping it to overseas to different locations around the world. That commodity is critical for the life and the energy for a lot of different countries around the world. And it's important that we can allow the United States to continue to produce that and allow us to bring that energy back to those countries that desperately need it.
Yeah, and look, Chett, you and I have talked a bunch about energy in the Gulf, energy that Port Fourchon services in the past. One of the things that me and you both talk about is that we're an all of the above kind of thinkers when it comes to it. If you want to do a wind project, let's talk. It's jobs, it's business. Liquefied natural gas has been one of those things that the state has seen a potential growth market in, demand wise, and Louisiana is well suited with all of our natural gas that we have to be a big player in this industry. It looks like it's an emerging market, and it seems like we're kind of crippling it before it gets going.
Absolutely, and the thing is that we're in a lower the carbon footprint mentality for a lot of the country. A lot of the world is talking about that. LNG is that ability to lower that carbon footprint because it burns clean, and because we are able to get um, cleaner natural gas through the way we do our exploration and production. We're benefiting the environment while having the ability to create energy. And LNG is really that gap time fuel energy provider that's lower carbon emitting until the technology exists to turn gas into green hydrogen, or water into hydrogen, or whatever is going to happen in the future. Right, there's a lot of different things that are going to happen in the future that we're being told. What I can tell you, and what you know, and what I think the audience knows, is that oil and gas is here. It's been here for a long time. It's going to continue to be here, and we're poised in the state of Louisiana and the Gulf of Mexico to provide that energy to our country and the rest of the world in a much cleaner way than anybody else can do it.
Absolutely, and it's frustrating me because it seems like there's a lot of avenues we can go down to be greener, to reduce carbon footprinting, but it's almost like you have to do it in a way they want you to do it, not in what's really available to us right now, or not what the market is seeing. I think you look overseas. There's a huge market for LNG for us, but yet they're basically turning us down. Have you seen exactly why the Biden administration doesn't want us to participate in LNG?
All I can think is politics, man. Like, it none of the administration's energy policy makes any real sense to anyone who has any half of a brain. And I'm going to be just just real about that. It doesn't make any sense at all because we're greener than anywhere else. We're less carbon emitting energy production than anywhere else in the world, with the exception of Saudi Arabia. And we're looking for, Venezuela to provide us with more oil. We're looking for people that are not really good actors in the world to provide us with the energy that we need. It makes no sense at all. And all it does is hurt our country, and hurt the ability to provide cleaner energy to the rest of the world. And it's really frustrating, as you said. You said that word frustrating. I think that's a word that's across the board. It's a frustrating time to be in the energy industry when you're being suppressed by an administration that just seems to not get it or really doesn't want to.
And look, we're running out of time, but I would say this about Chett. Chett, you do a great job because you're not somebody who's stuck in the past. You're willing to look at forward-thinking technologies. How can the port grow and adapt? It doesn't have to be historic oil and gas for you, and yet you feel like you're getting kneecapped, and you're not a reactionary type person. It's really troubling. I appreciate you being on to explain. We'll be right back with some more stuff going on in the port, maybe some more positive things than losing out possibly in a $5 billion industry in our area. We'll be right back with Chett Chaisson, Port Director for Port Fourchon, to discuss what's going on locally in the economic space in Terrebonne Parish and Lafourche parishes. Be right back.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough. Alford and Associates, for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Terrebonne General Health Systems, modern technology and timeless caring. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bourke, know your rights.
Welcome back to Bite Time. Again, I'm your host, Tanner McGee. We're talking with Chett Chaisson, Port Director in Fourchon. We spent the last segment kind of going over some frustrations of how a $5 billion project is kind of struggling to get off the ground because of really just global politics at this point. But let's talk about some positive stuff, things you got going on in Port Fourchon. Like I said in the last segment, you're a forward-thinking, positive kind of guy. See what y'all can do. Y'all got some new stuff happening on the port. Walk us through this new beach project you got going on, Chett.
Yeah, so as we all know, our beachheads in Louisiana are, we're part of the working coast, right? But there's a lot of work that needs to take place to repair those when we get hit by our first line of defense against storms and things of that nature. So we do have a project that's coming in, about a $17 million project to repair and refurbish about a mile-long section of beach in Port Fourchon along the Gulf, and it'll also add a couple more breakwaters because of just the way some of the breakwaters that we historically had put in place back in the mid-90s kind of are not situated properly anymore because of the retreat of some of the water's edge of the beachhead. So we're putting that together, and that should be out to bid very shortly, and then in the construction later this year. So we're really excited about that. We're excited about moving forward on our dredge project that'll get us from 27 foot to 33 feet of depth. That should start middle of this year as well. And really moving forward with some of these projects. And as we talked about in the last segment, that this Port Commission is very forward thinking and looking at how can we be part of whatever offshore energy may be. And we've talked about this in the past, but we're working very, very hard to try to piece together a supply chain or what the Gulf of Mexico offshore wind market will look like. And as part of that, to kind of kick some of this stuff off, we came up with an agreement and have an agreement with Gulf Wind Technologies for a lease in the port to do an on-land wind turbine as a test project to collect some data. And then the port's proposing, hopefully we can, have offtake of the power that is going to generate 200 to 300 megawatts. This turbine is small scale in the grand scheme of things, 187 feet from base to tip of blade. And, hopefully we can show the general public and the folks of how this could work in terms of, creating wind power with the turbine and off-taking it and utilizing it on some of the facilities. With that, we're gonna build that in. Our Gulf Wind is going to build it near our coastal wetlands park that we have in the port. And in the near future, we're going to start to construct an actual lookout tower in that area. We're hoping some of that power that's been generated by that turbine can power that facility, and really just kind of wrap around and complete that whole coastal wetlands park, footprint in that general vicinity. And then we'll keep moving things forward. We're also part of something that LSU is the lead on with GNO Inc. and a number of different groups that are working towards. It's called the Glow Tech Hub, and it's really, the plan is to try to build a wind turbine in Timberlake Bay, an offshore wind turbine that would be kind of a test project with some research and development capability, show the construction capability of the tenants and users of Port Fourchon, and the port would be kind of like that research and development data collection location for that grant. Now that's a grant application that LSU is submitting, anywhere from $45 to $75 million request to the Economic Development Administration on the federal side. Assuming they get that, that'll mean a big deal moving forward and really creating the offshore wind space, and hopefully leading into more offshore wind in the Gulf of Mexico as we move forward. To also, supplement, not replace, but supplement the rest of the offshore energy that's created, like exploration and production of oil and natural gas, and whatever comes with carbon capture and sequestration and things like that.
Absolutely. And I think the important thing is we keep highlighting the fact this is not an or, it's an and. And I think we want to make sure that we don't get left behind one day. I think oil and gas is here to stay for the foreseeable future, but we don't want to see jobs be going to Texas and Alabama or Florida or wherever else where they start exploring these technologies. We want to make sure that we still are competitive for every company to do what it wants to do in the Gulf. And I think one of the things we don't even talk about is 25% of the supply chain for this offshore wind comes from Louisiana already without having an offshore wind facility. So we could only ramp that up and give our local workers and local contractors more business. I think it's great to kind of explore it and see where it can go. At the same time, maintain our base, which is the traditional oil and gas route. It's really exciting stuff going on right now. Yeah,
absolutely. And our customers at Port Fourchon, the businesses that we know in Lafourche Parish, in Terrebonne Parish, in this region, they are interested. They are pushing the envelope. They're getting into the business. They see that it's a viable market to participate in. They're doing work up in the Northeast. It is just easy to see that they should be the ones working in the Gulf of Mexico and really creating that supply chain and that capability to create this offshore wind market and create lower carbon footprint energy to supplement all the energy that we know is near and dear to our heart. And I like to call it an energy addition, right? An energy addition. We're not doing any transitioning by any means.
I appreciate it, Chett, for being on and sharing all the things that are going on. And the future looks bright, even with Biden trying to hold us back right now. We appreciate you having me on the show. That wraps up our time for Bayou Time. That was Chett Chaisson, the Port Director of Fourchon, giving us a great overview of what's been going on. And we'll see you next time on Bayou Time.